we have a brand new addition to the show that we have to talk about, and that's the opening title sequence, so let's break it all down. Our first shot is of Paul Bunyan, the giant lumberjack and folk hero in American and Canadian folklore. Now, Paul Bunyan, like I mentioned, was a lumberjack, and he traveled the country logging and solving problems and contributing to the idea of manifest destiny and westward expansion. Derry's massive Paul Bunyan statue is one of the town's most memorable landmarks, and it played a key role in the standout horror sequence in It Chapter 2 when it came to life to terrorize Richie. Now, the name Paul Bunyan was also mentioned multiple times in the premiere episode. We got a glimpse of him on the sign welcoming people into Derry in the opening scene, as well as in a newspaper article discussing the city pressing forward with the statue of the Mystery Man. Now, I do wonder if it will take the form of Paul Bunyan again, like we saw in It Chapter 2 at some point later this season. Next, we see some of the town's key locations, including the Capitol Theater, which has the Music Man on the marquee. Now, here on the side of the pharmacy, you'll notice the iconic Uncle Sam "We Want You" poster. This, of course, ties into the Air Force's presence in Derry, but also in the trailer they released after episode 1, there's a shot of it taking the form of Uncle Sam attacking soldiers in the sewers. We also see a little girl with the missing signs flying around her as she investigates a sewer drain, most likely being lured in by it, similar to what we saw with poor Georgie. We then have a group of kids playing in the water by the same bridge we remember Henry using his knife to carve up Ben's stomach in It Chapter 1. And we also see a little boy walking towards the sewer as it is reaching out with his octopus-like arms offering the kid a lollipop. Then we see a lobotomy being performed on a boy at the Juniper Hill Asylum. Now, we know Lily has been sent here, and we see her going back later in the episode. This asylum is known in the various Stephen King stories for performing outlandish, unorthodox, and often dangerous practices against its patients. We see it looking through a window at a little boy from the inside of what I assume is the well house, also known as the haunted house on Nailboat Street. The sequence then cuts to a classroom where Pennywise is controlling a projector as we see the same house being in the middle of a nuclear explosion with some of the kids hiding under their desk in fear of their lives. Now, speaking of Pennywise, we see him on a building as it's shooting into a crowd in the middle of a shootout. Now, this is a clear reference to George Bradley, a gang leader and a minor character in the Stephen King's novel of It. Together with his brother Al, they were a group of bandits that robbed and murdered several store owners across Derry throughout the early 1900s, as well as banks in the Midwest. In 1929, George and the rest of his crew were brutally gunned down by several of Derry's citizens in an ambush shooting. George was eventually shot in the head and killed. Now, during the 90s film of It, Mike Hanlon was told of stories that many townspeople had seen a clown shooting the same gun that they had been using, and each seeing him somewhere else in town during the shooting. One person even recalled seeing him floating outside of a window. We end the sequence by seeing the Kitchener Ironworks event of 1908. This factory exploded and 102 people were killed. 88 of them were kids and 14 of them were adults. A tragic cornerstone of Derry's horrific history. Now, speaking to the song that plays during this incredible sequence, is called A Smile and a Ribbon by Patience and Prudence, two sisters who were a young vocal duo and active during the time of 1956 into 1963. If you listen to the lyrics of this song, it's actually quite creepy and unsettling. To me, it sounded like they were talking about little girls having to put on a smile and to pretending that everything's okay. It's almost like the song is encouraging little girls to be more ladylike and to do things that are ladylike, which is incredibly fitting for this show and its time period that it's focusing on, especially when you compare it to our characters in the show like Lily, Marge, and Ronnie. Again, the lyrics, for example, the bigger my toothly grin is, the smaller my troubles grow. The louder I say I'm happy, the more I believe it's so. That perfectly encapsulates the dark optimism and forced innocence that it thrives on. Now, I hope we don't see some article coming out in a few days revealing this masterful opening was generated by AI, because that would be so disappointing. I bring that up because there was some controversy around some of the promotional posters leading up to the show, and unfortunately some of the posters were AI generated. I truly hope that some awesome design artist put this together because I found this to be so creepy, so eerie, and really effective. Look, man, we live in a time where most shows don't have opening title sequences anymore, and if they do, they're like 5 seconds long. I want more opening credits in my shows. And again, this one is just a great example of how effective one can be. It had a great musical choice. The lyrics are so fitting. The imagery shown definitely sets the perfect tone for this show.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
What did you all think? Please do me a favor, hit the like button, but also hit the hype button for this breakdown. I would greatly appreciate it. I would also appreciate if you all can share this video and this breakdown to anyone and everyone you know that loves talking about this show. But more importantly, please consider sticking around by subscribing to the channel for more IT videos and so much more. Alrighty, y'all, until next time, remember you all are awesome, stay safe out there, and try not to let your fears get the best of you, and also avoid the pickle aisle next time you're at the local grocery store. I'll see you all again soon.